Hey guys, Achilles here, with another build. Sorry, I haven't posted a build in a while. A little bit busy with the work, gotta pay the bills somehow. Today I'm gonna talk about the Gen Monk, which arguably is the most powerful spec for Monk solo build at the moment. On PTR we had the Gen Monk setup with Ina's 6-piece and Remnant of the Thousand Storms 4-piece, which is a 400% multiplier. It's a times 5 multiplier to spirit generators. But after the nerf to the Ina set, basically Remnant of the Thousand Storms is the stronger set, and I explain to you why. Well, it's certainly because we can utilize one extra piece in our cube instead of the boots for the inner set, and that would be depth diggers, which is 100% separate multiplier. So therefore our 6k Raymond set is essentially a 12,000% multiplier. So it's stronger than inner set. I love the playstyle of this build. This is like it reminds you of the generator or GK. You are a little bit squishy, so I'm gonna go in depth on how the build works and how to survive. So basically we are using 6-piece Remnant of 1,000 Storms. Remnant set in itself doesn't have any damage reduction. For our damage reduction we're using Spirit Guards, which is a 60% damage reduction, and Unity on our character and also on our follower. We are utilizing obviously the Traveler set, because why not? And we're using this beautiful set, Shenlong's Spirit set. The Shenlong's Spirit set gives us 2% damage for each point of a spirit we have. That is the spirit we have currently. So if our spirit is almost full, as you can see, 330, keep going up because of a generation, that would be exactly this amount times 2. But when our spirit goes down, whether we're using it or the Shenlong set consumes it, the first part of this Shenlong spirit goes down as well. So it is vital to our build to make sure that our spirit is always full. That means we should be attacking with our generators always when we want to do damage, especially since we are using COE in a cube. We want to utilize that exactly during our fire cycle. Well, first let's talk about the build itself, and then we talk about the items. So for our generator we're going to be using Crippling Wave Mangle. Why? Crippling Wave is an AoE attack. As you can see, it's 11 yards around us, and it's the only rune that can give us the most amount of damage in an area. There's another rune, Way of the 100 Fist, Wind First Flurry, which increases the damage of that third hit by 500%, where Mangle only increases it by 255%. Well, it's all attacks, but that's the third attack. But anyway, that's still an AoE, and it's hitting harder than Mangle, so why not this? Because we want to use this Way of the 100 Fist Assimilation. Assimilation is like a temporary additive buff to our character. It works exactly like Black Hole for Wizard, the Spell Steal rune, which gives us 3% damage per mob hit. This is exactly the same way. Every third hit gives us 5% damage per mob hit for 5 seconds. So basically, I explained to you how the build works and how we run through mobs, and we utilize that damage with these two. But this is the best setup we can utilize in this particular build. So crippling wave, mangle wave, the 100 fists, assimilation. We're gonna be utilizing cyclone strike, implosion. Why? There's no reason not to. We can pull every single mob together, and this build thrives on density. So let's just get as much density as possible to get our assimilation stacks high up. Breath of Heaven infused with light. This beautiful gives us 14% additional spirit from our generator. Our generator by themselves generate 12 of spirit. When this is active, it generates 14 extra. What does that mean? When I explain the Shenlong set, you realize that is necessary to keep our spirit maxed up. Dashing strike. Radiance is attack speed. When you go higher ones, instead of attack speed, I believe you need the dodge. Although when you get better and better, Radiance is a better choice because it gives you 15% more attack speed rather than 40% dodge. Mantra of Salvation, agility, strong defensive option. Gives us 20% all res as passive, and the active gives us as passively gives us 35% dodge as well. If you want to activate it, which we don't need to, gives us 20% extra armor resist as well. We are using Exalted Soul to give us 50 more spirit as max spirit, obviously, as I explained. Increases our damage with the first setup, with the first part of Shenlong's spirit set. Alacrity, 15% more attack speed. Seize the initiative, a 30% multiplier attack speed to the mobs that are above 75% health. Obviously, during the rift, when we're gathering mobs together, this will be 24/7 active. And then Harmony. Harmony by itself, I think, is the most amount of damage reduction we can get in this setup. 40% of every single elemental resistance on our gear is going to be all res. So what does that mean? I have 210 arcane resistance there. 40% of that is going to be added to my all res. So you want to have single res on every piece. You can't get it on shoulders because shoulders innately by default roll all res. So gloves, chest, as you can see, I'm trying to get it everywhere. Not the rings, and I explain to you why. You guys can see I'm just trying to I got single res on every piece that I could get. Why I want reduce duration of impairing effects on my rings. You can also get on the headpiece. I could not get it for the life of me. Couldn't find one. It's because, as you can see, we have no epiphany, no immunity to knockbacks, freeze, stuns, or fear. So we are gonna get hit by those, and they are gonna affect us. So in order to reduce it as much as possible, I am using reduce control impairing effect. As you guys can see, 2-piece gives me 62%. You get the headpiece, I believe it goes above 75s. Oh, sorry, 72. So actually 75, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, you need that in order to make sure that you don't get CC 24/7 and die during those CCs. So why spirit? Why max spirit, and why we use Breath of Heaven? The second part of Shenlong's spirit works this way: that when we reach maximum spirit, when we reach our maximum spirit pool, we get a buff. We get a Shenlong buff, which increases all of our damage by 200%. But then this spirit regen, which is +4 per second, doesn't happen. The passive spirit regens don't happen. That means this exalted soul doesn't happen. If you had epiphany active, it doesn't happen. If you have spirit gen on our gear, doesn't happen. only way we can generate spirit is through our spirit generators. So long as we keep the spirits at maximum or don't let it deplete completely, we have that 200% buff. But we want to always be full. Why? So we can get the first part as well, the 2% damage per spirit points that we currently have. It works the same way as the DH said. I forgot the name of the set. MUE, I believe. Yeah, on Hollow Essence. It works the same way as that set. It works the way for the spirits that you currently have. Same way as that UE works for the hatreds you currently have, not the maximum hatred. As you guys can see, whenever I go higher, you get a buff here, which is a Shenlong set, and it drains our spirit 65 spirit per second. So the 12 spirit per attack doesn't cut it. That means we have to have 5 attack speed per second, which sometimes we do, but it's not fully reliable. So we want, obviously we want attack speed on as many pieces as possible. As you guys can see, on weapons it's necessary. That's why we're using Breath of Heaven infused with light to increase that spirit per attack to as much as we can. And obviously if you can get cooldown on places, I'm not gonna get any cooldown, I'm just putting a cooldown gem in my helm, which even that is not necessary. Just to get enough cooldown for the Breath of Heaven is about, what is it, 15 seconds. So with that much cooldown on my Paragon 21, that would be around 12 seconds. So it's not bad. I'm not gonna waste vitality or always or anything to get cooldown on pieces that I can, like shoulders, so you don't need cooldown. In our cube, as I explained, we're using Depth Digger and Convention of Elements. We also use the Flying Dragon weapon in our cube for a chance to double our attack speed. Flying Dragon is a chance on using the generators or spenders, doesn't matter, when attacking, not when hitting. So that means if I sit here and attack in the intent, oh, there you go, you can see that more visibly. You can see the attack speed, but when Flying Dragon procs, which hasn't procced in a while, holy shit, this is interesting. When in a blue moon, Flying Dragon procs, you get double attack speed. There you go, it procced. You guys can see I'm spazzing. Look at that. It's a lot faster. And it proc back to back, and it stopped. You guys can see visibly the attack speed is slower. That helps us obviously do a lot of damage, because this is our damage dealer, Crippling Wave Mangle, as well as make sure we keep up these spirits. The choice of belt is Witching Hour. There's no reason not to. It gives us the attack speed, which is much needed. We want attack speed everywhere. 50% crit damage, as well as we need crippling wave damage on belts and pants. That's where our additive damage comes in. We're obviously utilizing fire element for our element to our skill using fire because of Mangle, crippling wave. So fire skills on both braces and the neck piece. Our choices of gems are Simplicity, Strength, flat out increase the damage of our primary skills, which are our generators by 100%, so it's 100% multiplier. Bane of the Trapped, and Bane of the Stricken to kill the boss faster. Believe it or not, actually during the rift, you kill everything around an elite when you push higher, and you remain with a yellow. If they don't follow you, this is actually going to help you to kill them really quick. Obviously all res gems. And we want life per hit on at least one of our weapons. So one of our fists, just to get enough life per hit. Although we get a lot of health from our primary skill, but that's a percentage. And it is good to have these life per hit. You want maximum spirit on both of your weapons. I have a primal full max spirit on this one, but it doesn't have area damage or life per hit, and I kind of like the life per hit. Other than that, you have to have attack speed on both of them. I wouldn't mind attack speed on my rings as well, but I think average damage is better on both of our rings. Instead of crit hit damage, I would like crit hit chance. But since we are using Unity, I'm gonna use 1 crit and 1 crit hit damage. Why? Because we're using 2 weapons, we got crit hit damage gems in both of them. Therefore, our crit hit damage is very high. I wouldn't mind getting that to above 50, so that being crit hit chance would have been better, but I'm just gonna go with it for now. Area damage wherever you can get. As I said, weapons. I would like to utilize it on the gloves as well. Quad gloves is the best with attack speed. I think I have enough attack speed without 1 attack speed piece, which is my gloves, to keep up my spirit at max. So I'm just gonna go with area damage. Okay. Let's showcase this build. Oh, forgot to mention how the 6-piece works. That's why we're using Dashing Strike. The 6-piece Rayman increases the damage of our generators whenever we use Dashing Strike. You can see the buff here. Whenever we use Dashing Strike, we get damage to our generators for 6 seconds, and whenever we use generator, we get damage to our Dashing Strike for 6 seconds. So we have to dash pretty much every 6 seconds at least in order to get the 6k damage multiplier. This build is a squishy, as you guys can see. You don't even have a cheat death, so you gotta be very careful with the mobs and mob types. Dashing Strike actually doesn't use a charge in Rayman's set. If you have enough spirit, it will consume 65 spirit, I believe. So make sure you don't dash 24/7. As you guys can see, every time I dash, I lose my entire spirit pool. Just want to do that fire cycle and go. Oh, speed power. Trying to avoid skipping too much, because I don't know what's going to be the next map, and it could be our demise, and that's our fire cycle. Let's go. Unfortunately, Monk as a class doesn't utilize Transformers. It doesn't utilize a convention of elements set very well, because Monk has the most amount of elements, which is 5. So we have Holy, Fire, Cold, Physical, and Lightning. So if there was a better option, I would have used the better option. There is actually it's like the wheels on. Hello? Did I just get one shot? This is what happens when you don't pay attention. It is a squishy build. There is a better option to use just as like training wheels, if you'd call it, for this build instead of COE, just so you learn more. And that would be, God forbid I remember every single item's name. I can't remember the name of the ring that increases your generations. We're trying to wait for this infused light so we can increase our generator. As you guys can see, when our generator is max and when our flying dragon procs, we rip through these mobs. The reason that these mobs take a while is because they have the knockback effect, and every time they knock me back, not only they stop me doing damage and CCing me, they also stop me from generating. Therefore, the Shenlong 2-piece, Shenlong Spirit, start draining our spirits, which is our damage, and we do no damage. That's why I said mob types are important. I mean, this build has the highest potential. It is not the easiest to play. Certainly, it is not the tankiest either. It's extremely squishy, but it has the highest damage in every monk build. We're not gonna make. Oh, yep, fire. That was bad. We didn't have the Shenlong spirit buff for our fire cycle. But, I mean, COE is the highest damage potential, but otherwise I would use the Bandor Root Chambers. That was the name of that ring. Otherwise I would just use the Bandor Root Chamber to learn this build a little bit more. What this Bandor Root Chamber does is increase your spirit generation from generators by 50%. So that means you're gonna have this Shenlong's spirit buff with ease. You're still gonna get feared like me and knockback. Like, this is a pack you wanna completely skip. You guys can see how pathetic this is when it's a single target and it has all these affixes. But you see the damage potential. You guys see what's happening with these monsters. Okay. Okay, I should have just left. These mobs are horrible. Not the mobs as in the elite pack for our build, as it had 2 CC affix on it. Fear as well as knockback. That means if they hit us with both, at a point we die. Because remember, the damage reduction from the braces is a huge damage reduction, 60%, but it only lasts 3 seconds. So if you're CC'd for 3 seconds, you pretty much lose one of the only 2 damage reductions you have in a build. One being the braces, the other one being the Unity ring. What I do is basically, this is the gameplay. I'm dashing into the density, find an Aki before my fire, cycling everything in, use an assimilation, make sure I dash before that, and there's the fire. So I'm weaving between my between my 2 generators, one for gaining the stacks. There you go, 11 stacks. You can utilize every single Aki if it's near the density. But you want to be in density because our generator that we're using is an AoE. Oh, we still have power for this. So, another knockback, of course. Since it is an AoE, we want to use that AoE effect to our benefit, because every hit of the generator counts if it hits different mob for the purpose of generation. It's not per attack, it's per hit, per mob hit, per target hit. So if we're in the density, we're always going to be full spirit. Jesus. We are actually killing ourselves here. These mobs actually don't do much damage to us, but they have an affix called Electrified. What does Electrified do? Oh my god. Every time you hit them, they reflect lightning damage to you. Or basically, you guys can see the lightning on the screen. So the faster you attack, the faster that lightning gonna shoot. And we're attacking ridiculously fast. And 2 punishers, double stun, we died. Exactly what I explained with the braces. I was just getting greedy, wanted to kill them, and I'm still sitting here, which you shouldn't be. But I want to just spawn the boss. Stone Singer's not bad. The problem is that if he charges, we die. Simple as that. And not to mention he has this goddamn knockback. If he doesn't knock us, he's gonna. Yep. If he knock you back, what you have to do, you have to instantly dash to him. Why? Because when he knocks you back, he's gonna charge at you full speed and one-shots you. As you guys see, we are a squishy. I think I died twice or 3 times. I think I died twice. This is a very squishy build, but it has the highest damage potential. Basically for your monk clear. Really? This is sad. I don't have a gem. There is, however, one option for you guys that are playing in season, and that is because you're utilizing Ring of Royal Grandeur. You can use something like Lefebvre's Soliloquy, which is a 50% damage reduction whenever you use Cyclone Strike. So you utilize that piece, and your Cyclone Strike gives you 50% damage reduction, which is huge in this build. It's like night and day. You can just see the difference that you don't die to a random CC just because you can't keep up your Spirit Guard. But if you feel like you're comfortable with this, you can utilize that extra piece elsewhere. Like some people use Mage Fist for 20% more elemental. Some people use you can use variety. There's like there's this helm. You can use variety of items. You can use this helm as well. Sorry, I can't remember every item's name. Which basically reduces the cooldown of Breath of Heaven, which is huge. It's so good, and it feels so good to play it. I played it on my seasonal character with this. Where is it? With this item. It's a Spirit Stone. There we go. Eye of Peshkov. It reduces the cooldown of Breath of Heaven by 50%. So ours was about, what, like, was it 12 seconds, 11 and a half. So it becomes 5 to 6 seconds. So basically you have this buff of Breath of Heaven always active. That means you don't need attack speed on a lot of pieces, which you can utilize area damage. Because this buff alone will give us enough to maximize our spirit. Although attack speed is a must on both weapons because it's a multiplier to attack speed of a character. You can like drop the attack speed on gloves, for example. Well, I don't have it anyway, but like here I could drop attack speed and get crit. But all in all, that Ringer Royal buff can give you some pretty neat items for either utilizing damage reduction in terms of using Lefebvre's Soliloquy, or use Aya Peshkov for damage increase. I hope you guys enjoyed this this build, this setup. It is very, very strong, and it feels really nice to kill mobs with just our generator. I didn't want to go into details of the breakpoints for these generators, but they do have breakpoints. If you're interested in those, you can basically check out. I'll put a link in the description below for a D3 planner, which you guys can see breakpoint for each attack, because every generator hits 3 times and each of them have a separate breakpoint and separate proc coefficient, so they proc separately for things like Bane of Stricken. So if you're interested in in-depth details on those, I can cover all of that in one video, so check out the D3 planner and you guys should be able to easily work with that tool. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, share and subscribe to the channel, and Leave a comment down below for me and tell me what you guys want to see next. Thank you.